What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. I was able to watch an early screener for Possessor. I need you in the comments down below. Are you guys excited for this movie dropping tomorrow? That is Friday. This is a non-spoiler review for a movie that is gonna freak people out. Let's get into it. Possessor follows an agent who works for a secretive organization that uses brain-implant technology to inhabit other people's bodies, ultimately driving them to commit assassinations for a high-paying client. Oh my goodness. Cronenberg. Recognize the name? This is Brandon Cronenberg as our writer/director. The cast is exquisite. Maybe a cast that not everyone's familiar with, but that makes the story run. But the story itself is what is so interesting, because I went into this expecting pure horror. What I walked out with was horror for sure, especially when it comes to gore and grotesque imagery. The scenes, that is in there for sure. But I got a sci-fi movie. I got something that reminded me of Upgrade. It's that style, it's that feeling that you don't often get while watching a sci-fi film, because it's also mixed with that horror, but it also takes elements of what we love from a thriller, because what this girl is doing is she's possessing these bodies, and she's essentially being hired to assassinate individuals as a different person altogether. But within the concept of possessing someone's soul, spirit, mind, there is this attachment that is sometimes very difficult to disassociate yourself with. And that's what we see our main character experience, our main character being played by Andrea Riseborough. Not as familiar with her as an actress. We also have Christopher Abbott, who is great. Jennifer Jason Leigh. I swear the second I heard her voice, I said, that's Jennifer Jason Leigh. And sure enough, it was. She's very good as kind of the shady organizer of this operation, putting our main character in this giant machine that sends her to a different body. But by going into a different body, you always have to come back out. That process is terrifying. And it's something that not only does the body horror and the gore and all of this stuff get to us, but it's just the concept of, am I willing to, and I won't spoil what it is, do this to get back to my body when you're slowly starting to kind of sink into the body that you're attached to. It all comes down to the mentality and the toll that it's taking on this woman's mind throughout the movie. And there is this sequence of events that happens every time she comes out of a mission, where she is shown a select few items, and that's kind of their way of allowing her to kind of come back to reality in a sense. And the way that they continue to slightly switch that up, and I won't get into it in this video. I am planning on going a bit deeper in a separate video, because this concept as a whole is fascinating. But the way that they slowly start to change her character, and we often talk with a movie like this, well, we need a character arc. We need our characters to learn something and become, maybe not someone else, but become a different individual than what you were at the start. Well, it's kind of what every movie is supposed to be. But especially when you get these sci-fi films, it's hard to find a movie that fleshes their lead character out in a way that is fascinating. And I just found this to be fascinating. Here's another phrase you hear me use all the time. This is not a movie for everyone. And when I say that, I mean that in two different ways. Way number one, again, the blood, the brutality. One scene in particular that I think was even too much for me. It's a scene at the end. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I thought that maybe pushed it, even on a personal level. I'm like, I just don't like seeing that. And I get it, like, it's the whole point of the movie, and it was a fascinating way, the way that the story actually played out. But I would have preferred the camera to cut away right there. But otherwise, when we get the blood and the gore throughout the first two acts, I don't mind that, because Cronenberg went for it in this movie. Went for it. It's the hard R, and it even says it on IMDb. Possessor Uncut. They don't take anything out of the version that I was sent by Neon. And you hear the studio Neon, I mean, they tend to push the limits a little bit, and they've done it with plenty of movies in the past, but I think this may be the most boundary and limit pushing movie when it comes to that violence, but it was so well done. I mean, the practical effects are fantastic. The way that the film is edited together, they use this interesting style where every time she is sent on a mission, or we have a character who is trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? Can I pull myself away from this personality? Christopher Abbott's character did a wonderful job of that. We get these visual effects on screen that's kind of showing the process using this interesting imagery. A lot of it does look practical. I'm sure a bit of it was CGI. And then utilizing colors and transitions, I thought it was just done in a spectacular way. Like, that added so much to the movie when it could have come off as just this cheesy and ridiculous thing. Why are you going to edit this film together like that? Couldn't you just do it in a normal way? I don't feel that way at all. I thought that was integral to the experience as a whole, and that's kind of what Possessor is. It's an experience. And now, I do think they pushed the boundaries just a bit far at the end, like I said, and the film isn't always this fast-paced adventure that maybe I was even hoping for about halfway through the movie. It does slow down a bit, and this is something that I often say. It didn't have my full attention because she does get stuck in this one situation for quite a while, and we start to hit those interesting turns when we get into the third act of the movie, but maybe the second act was a bit too slow for me, and I feel like it's going to be way too slow for the more general audience because it's extremely artistic, and because of that, it's not going to hit everyone in the same way. So I completely understand if you weren't all there on Possessor. Maybe you expected more of a horror film, less of a sci-fi, but I thought the balance was really cool. And Possessor, and I've been hearing it all year, is unlike any other movie you're going to watch, and that is for sure because it is wild. So like I said, a few moments that I still have to allow to sink in a bit more, but man, Brandon Cronenberg, like father, like son, really following in his father's footsteps with this movie, but going outside the box, outside of what I expected. If you're looking forward to Possessor, I implore you to watch this movie. Even if you don't love it, you're definitely in for an experience. So before I give you guys my score, thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned, more to come. Drop this video a thumbs up if you love crazy horror sci-fi movies. My score is a 78%. Again, there are some things that I still need to think about with this movie. There's a lot going on, a lot of different elements at play, but the performances were great. Some standouts there. The direction as a whole and the style of the movie is unlike anything I've seen this year. You guys the best. Appreciate you for watching. Stay tuned because I will have a spoiler video for Possessor. I'll see you later. There it is. There's the king of this channel. It's the baby Yodes. Actually, it's my dog, Buddy. I would say he's the king of this channel. He keeps me going. But you know what? I should say that about my wife, but my dog, Buddy.